Well, welcome back to the third week of our prosperity series this year. And we are looking at thriving in the overflow as we're moving our thinking, shifting it to more than enough. Would you join me in that this morning? Let's say that together. The next one. I have more than enough. No, I have more than enough. I have more than enough. There we go. There we go. So, how are you doing with a lot of the things we've already talked about this month? You were to name and claim your desire. Have you come up with that? Can you name and claim your desire? We also then looked at those hidden beliefs. Have you discovered any hidden beliefs around your prosperity that surprised you, perhaps? Have you been able to dissolve and move those away, any of them? And what good are you noticing coming into your life now that maybe you weren't noticing before? Today, we're going to discover if you're ready to receive. Are you ready to receive? No? Oh, yes. Okay. Well, most of the time we say, absolutely, yes, bring it on. I'm ready to receive. But in reality, most of us have a cap, a limitation, a boundary that we have set around how much, what, and how we can receive. Last week, if you were here, I confessed that I have been sort of binge watching that old TV series, Nashville. And the characters are pretty well developed on this show. And this week, they had a great example for our talk today. And in it, one of the stars had an accident, and someone came to her rescue and basically saved her life. And she was very grateful for that. And so she got to know this person a little bit in her gratitude after she got better. And in doing so, she discovered that the woman that helped her had a very old model Jeep, and it didn't run very well. So she was a very wealthy star, and she decided to get her a gift of a new car. So she had delivered to her a brand new Range Rover SUV. Well, the lady called her and she said, "Oh my goodness, this is so much. Thank you, but it's really too much. I can't accept it. It's just too much." And so she rejected the gift. And what that demonstrated was where her consciousness was around prosperity and her ability to receive. This was too much from where she was in her mindset of her old model Jeep that didn't run real well. She would have liked to have had a newer vehicle, newer, but probably a used later model that just happened to run better. But to go all the way up to a Range Rover, it was too much. She could not receive it. She had not prepared a place for it. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about this limit, this boundary that many of us may have. So I want to try an exercise this morning. Are you willing to play with me a little bit? All right. So close your eyes if you're comfortable. And now imagine that you have been invited to lunch somewhere in Scottsdale at a very nice restaurant. Something like Eddie V's or Mastro's or maybe the Ocean Club or Fleming's, someplace really, really nice. And so you arrive at lunch and you're enjoying your luncheon with your friend and having a lovely conversation. And the bill comes and they say, "Oh, no, this is mine. I'm taking care of it. It's my treat." And you say, "Well, at least let me pay the tip." They say, "No, no, no, my treat, my treat." You say, "Okay, thank you very much." So you're finishing your coffee and y'all still having a little conversation. And all of a sudden, they start to slide across the table a $100 bill. I just feel so open-hearted sitting here with you. I want to share this gift. I want you to take this $100 bill. How do you feel? How do you feel? After you leave the restaurant, you're feeling pretty full with your lunch and your gift and the gratitude and your friend. And so you go and you stop by your mailbox when you get home and you open the mail and you find an envelope. And the return address is an old friend from long ago. You haven't talked to them in years and years and years. And you're curious, so you open the envelope, and inside is a check for $1,000. And there's a note that says, "Hey, you loaned me some money a long, long, long time ago. And I'm sorry it's taken me so long to pay you back. But I wanted to pay you back with interest for all these years." How do you feel? Later in the evening, you get home, you're relaxing, you're just really basking in this beautiful day you've had of abundance and the universe just showering you with gifts. And you receive a call from a relative. It may be a blood relative, it may be a love relative, just someone that you've adopted as family, but someone that's very close to you, and they are very excited and they want to share some news. And they say, "I have come into a large sum of money. And because you're so special to me, I want to share this with you. So I'm sending you $10,000 right now to your PayPal account." And sure enough, you get the pop up on your phone that says, "You've received $10,000 in your PayPal account." How do you feel? How do you feel? You can open your eyes. Notice how you felt when you received each one of those gifts. The very nice lunch, the $100 bill, the $1,000 check, the $10,000 cash deposit. How did you feel? This exercise demonstrates for us where that cap, limitation, or boundary might be about how much we can receive and the conditions under which we can receive it. Notice where your boundaries are. Notice what those circumstances are. Which ones bothered you? Which ones didn't? The first time that I did this, I noticed that lunch was easy. I've done that before for others. They've done it for me. It's comfortable. It's something I'm familiar with. So I was okay with the lunch. The $100 bill, I caught my breath on a bit. It was like, oh, okay. So I had to look at that one. The $1,000 check was a surprise, but I was okay with that because it felt like it was a repayment of something. It was repaid with interest, so that was okay. That felt good. The $10,000, though, that's the one that I had some stuff come up about. I wanted to know why. Where'd that money come from? What was it for? How did you get so much? What's the strings attached to this? How's it going to impact our relationship going forward? Why? So I noticed that about me in that one the first time I did. I've since made peace with all this, by the way. Bring it on. But yeah, why? Why? So look at what you thought in each one of those and notice where you felt any resistance. This is the area of your beliefs and your limitations, and this is the area of your work to break through those so that you can begin to receive the greater good of Spirit expressing through us now, always. When we feel uncomfortable receiving, the universe receives that vibration. It receives that vibration and it says, "Beloved, I got it. You don't want to receive? I'm not going to make you uncomfortable by giving you anything because I love you too much to make you uncomfortable." That's how it works. So we have to get comfortable because it's done as we believe. That's why we say we have to move in, make it welcome. That's why I was comfortable with the nice lunch. I've done that before. It's it's old hat. It's comfortable, right? Are you ready to receive? Often we think absolutely, but in reality, we're hoping things will change, that it'll just show up without us having to change at all. Our thinking, our actions, our activities. We're just hoping it shows up. Not that we've got to do any work to get to a place of accepting. The receiving side of the prosperity equation can be challenging for many of us. It can be very difficult, and you probably have witnessed it in others more so than yourself, because it's easy to see when someone goes, "Oh, right, too much. Don't pay. Let me at least pay the tip. I've got to pay the tip. I'll get the valet. Let me do something." Right? We see that all the time. It's critical, though, that we figure out how to balance this equation in our life, because we live in a spiritual ecosystem and it gets out of balance. It gets out of balance if we are not giving and receiving. Giving and receiving. Ernest Holmes is the author of The Science of Mind, and he says the great lesson is that life delivers itself into our capacity to receive it. No more, no less. Our capacity to receive. The outpouring from the cosmic horn of plenty can only fill the cup that is lifted toward it. A pail turned on its side cannot be filled with rain from heaven. How often do we go to the well with a thimble or a teacup instead of our bucket or bathtub or tanker? How often are we just setting our own boundaries, our own limitations, not what the universe is telling us is there and available? Spirit is always already giving and creating, giving and giving and giving and creating and creating and creating. And we're part of that creation. We're part of that receiving nature of that. And then we circulate it and keep it going on. It's just a lovely, lovely little wheel that just keeps going once we step into it, and keep it going. As I've studied these principles over the years, one of the things that I've come to realize is that a lot of these limits that we put on ourselves are tied to our self-worth and whether we feel like we are worthy to receive anything better. Like the lady in the car. She had not, she did not believe she was worthy to receive that great of a gift. It would not have worked for her. So, what is it in our realm, in our worthiness thoughts about ourselves, that is keeping away from us that which we believe we desire? Do you feel worthy to receive more than enough? Some of us I know have a tendency to think, well, just enough is okay, because just enough is enough. There's a lot of people that don't have enough, and so just enough is okay. So I shouldn't have more because there are so many people that don't have enough. Because if I take more than enough, then that means somebody's going to get even less. So that just doesn't work for me in my mind. But the reality of this is that because of the consciousness that we develop of the expansion and the ability to receive more than enough, then we get to circulate that more than enough out into the world, to the organizations and the people and the places, to help them expand their awareness, to help them grow into enoughness, and then more than enoughness. It feeds the whole system. But it takes those of us who are willing to do the work of inner consciousness to expand and to grow that, to be able to receive the more than enough so that we can begin circulating it. It's like the old idea of priming the pump. Somebody's got to put have the water to begin with to put it in the pump to get it primed to start pulling the rest of the water up. That's us. We are the ones to do the work in the consciousness to expand to the more than enough thinking so that we're pouring our excess water into the pump of life to get more flowing for others. That's how it works. That's how it works. And we get these ideas going in our mind that limit us to less than simply or just enough simply because we think that's the way it works. And it's not. We've got to have we are the extra into the pump to spread the good, to spread the good. So what is the desire of your heart that is not in your life yet? Is it a relationship? Is it a different job? Is it more peace? Is it health? What is that thing that you feel is missing in your life? You know, we're doing the 40 Days to Prosperity book, this little journal prompt every day, a little area to write. And yesterday's reading from Emma Curtis Hopkins, her quote said, "God works only in truth. All truth is God." Kathy Ann Lewis, the author of this, goes on to expand that by saying the lesson teaches us we are to tell the highest truth we can at any given time. For instance, we might feel compelled to pray for rent money. But that's just a quick fix that the intellect grasps. Solve the problem. That's what our brain does, isn't it? There's a problem, solve the problem. Easiest problem is to have enough money to pay the rent. I'll pray for that. In truth, we probably want something like more than enough money to pay the rent this month. Or to never have to worry about it again. Does that feel better than just more than enough to pay it this month? In other words, our first impulse is to want a quick solution, but our true heart's desire would love to be way beyond the problem and free of the situation forever. Does that feel even better? Does that feel more true? That's what this quote is talking about. And the question we ask ourselves is, can I receive that much? Can I receive enough to be totally financially free forever? Can I accept that? Can I accept that? Even though I don't know how it's going to happen, can I accept that? That's our question today. Where's that limit? If that limit in your mind is saying, that's not possible, I can't do that, that's your limit. That's your limit. So after reading this, I asked myself on my own things that I'm manifesting, calling into my life, am I telling the highest truth about my desires? Do I need to take it steps further? Do I need to go and peel that layer of that onion like she did in her writing? Am I grasping at the obvious solution to the problem, or am I going deeper with it and expanding to find that truth behind my desire? Is my wanting based in worthiness or truth? Do I believe if I receive this thing that I desire, then I'll be worthy? Do I feel unworthy without it? Those are the deeper questions, the deeper work that we do to really start to blast away this block that we may have, these limitations that we've set. Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind says, we must be prepared and willing to receive the manifestation of the good we pray for. Now imagine you're praying for a pony. You want a pony so bad. You want this cute pony so bad. And you live in a third floor walk-up loft apartment. Have you prepared a welcome space for this pony to arrive in your life? Absolutely not. And so many times we do that. So many times we do that. We have not prepared a space to make welcome that which we desire, that which we are praying for. Are you telling yourself the highest truth about what it is you desire? That's a good process. It was really good for me to spend some time with that yesterday and to really begin to look, is it surface or is it deeper, and is it as deep as it can go? Is there more? Unity minister and prosperity teacher Catherine Ponder. She's 97, by the way. Catherine's been around a long time and she's still thriving over in Palm Springs. But she says many people's prayers are not answered because they do not follow through by getting ready to receive. It's like the village that was doing the rain dance because it was drought time and they were all doing the rain dance and doing their chants and their work and everything. And when they got all together to do one this last evening, the only person that showed up with an umbrella was a little girl. Yeah. We get ready to receive through the power of our minds and the power of our imaginations. We move into it. We vision it. We think about it. We write about it. We pray about it. We do all those things. We've probably all tried to pray our good in. We've probably tried to affirm our good in. We may have even gone so far as to walk through model homes or go through open houses to pray in and live in that house, or maybe get in a new car and smell that smell and maybe take a test drive just to get the feel for it. Those are all great ways to change our minds about that thing that we're calling in. They're great tools that we use, but we've got to keep doing it in our minds until we believe it's already here. The car's in the garage. The home office that we've envisioned in the new house is already operational. We're envisioning how we feel in the relationship. We set and meditate and vision on what perfect health feels like to us, moving beyond the pain that we may be feeling in the moment, moving beyond what's happening in the moment, and just envisioning and feeling what it feels like to be where we want to be. That's our work. And we came fully equipped with these beautiful imaginations with which to do that work. That's what we do. We need to make our good welcome before it can arrive. Today, I'm going to invite you to ask yourself the tough questions about your good. Spend some time thinking about what your highest truth really is in that. Ask yourself the motivation back of, underneath, behind what it is you believe you want. And ask why you want it. Is it because you feel unworthy without it? Is it because society thinks it should be that way? Is it because it's the highest truth that you know, that's something that you want? This is our healing work. This is how we unlock those limitations and boundaries and blast through those and move those walls and limitations. This week, I invite you to begin to transform your prosperity awareness and to begin receiving your good, because we know there's good for you and you ought to have it. Use your sacred tool of imagination to imagine and feel the good that you've named. Claim it. And emotionally lift your bucket up high to receive the good of spirit flowing to you. Let's look at our spiritual practices for this week to get us started. Your practice is journaling. Now, I can hear some of the internal moans, but journaling is a great spiritual practice. Whether you use pen and paper, whether you type it on your computer, or whether you just dictate and voice record it so that you've got it. It's a way of connecting our thinking and our action so that we can begin to reveal some of those hidden secrets that we have. Many times it's surprising what will come out when we're journaling. I recommend pen and pencil. There's something about it that just flows. If you can do that, try that first. So I'm going to give you some journaling prompts. There's 6 of them, so that gives you the next 6 days to play with these. Maybe use one a day. The first is, am I telling the highest truth about my desire? This assumes you know what your desire is. The second is, why do I want what I want? Why do I want this? What's my motivation? What is the need to be fulfilled? And what do I think is missing? Do I think I'm worthy to receive this good? Do I feel unworthy without it? Do I think I'll feel worthy with it once I have it in my life? What's it going to do for me once I have it? Moving ourselves into that place of having it, what's it going to do for me? How am I going to be different? How am I going to be changed and transformed? How will my life be more better? How will this more than enough that I'm calling in, how will I then begin to circulate that into the world? What good can I do? The second is to commit to our 40 days of prosperity journaling program. We've still got some books available up front, I noticed this morning, and commit to the Money Finders program. We've talked about that. That's our prosperity program, the green envelopes. This is where we prove the principle. What we focus on expands. And I know many of us are doing this. And we just focus on every day the good that comes to us. We write down the value of that, and then we tithe 10% of it back here, circulating back that more than enough that we've received, a percentage of that back as confirmation of receiving that. So that is our Money Finders program. So we're going to close it out this morning with another quote from Neville Goddard, one of my favorite authors. He says, to reach a higher level of being, you must assume a higher concept of yourself. If you will not imagine yourself as other than what you are, then you will remain the same as you are. This week, imagine yourself as you wish you were, living with your heart's desire. And so it is. So I will open for questions if anyone has anything. Daniel is raising his hand. Questions or comments?
That sounded wrong, didn't it, Joe? So one of the things that came up for me was this notion of lack, and that if we get something, somebody else is either deprived of that or they lose something. And then when I realized years ago that if I got something, what that actually created was a little bit of a vacuum for spirit to come in and supply more.
Mm-hmm.
And so that the more goodness that I accept, the more goodness is available in the world for everyone else. And that just feels really good to me.
Yes, it does.
Because there's no limit, man, to my goodness.
Exactly.
Because I know that there's no limit to anybody else's.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. You can be Big Louie. You can be anybody you want to be here.
Well, if I was Big Louie, I'd be a different guy. But you know, when I got into science of mind, one of the things I learned is we live in an abundant universe. It's hard for me, who always has all my life been in the negative. I sometimes tend to look at what I don't have rather than what I do have. And I also learned that abundance is there no matter how much you mention that. When I find a penny, I say, thank you, God, for the abundance. It's funny, about a week or so ago, I got a check for 30 cents. Okay. It was a refund for something. And I laughed and I said, thank you, God, for the abundance. Okay. This week I got one for 28 cents and I laughed and I said, thank you. But I'm going to cash them. I cashed one. I'm going to cash them. Why? Because they're abundance. And if it was $2 million, it would be abundance. In my life, I have had an issue with receiving. And I know, science of mind, if you can't receive, you're telling God, I don't need it. I don't want it. And that's basically, excuse me, BS. You do want it. You should receive it because God sees what you're doing. God knows. And God knows whether you're ready. And it's funny, you talked about desire. I write poetry too.
Nice.
Yeah, got about 4,000 of them. And this week I wrote one called That's My Desire. It's based on a song title. And I've also written a couple of poems lately about hopes, dreams, about dreams, what I dream. And I realize in one of my books I call Hopes, Dreams, Realities, and Faith. And I talk about the fact that we all have hopes, we all have dreams. They become realities, maybe, if we believe.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, O.C. Smith used to say, if you believe it, you'll see it.
Yep.
Okay. And, but the faith part of it is what ties everything together. If you don't have the faith, none of that works.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the faith that's important.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it.
Thank you, Stuart. Yeah, absolutely. That faith is important because that is our indication of our trust. Yeah, very good. Anyone else? Beverly.
This brought up for me a mantra that I've had throughout my life, off and on, that I ran across decades ago from a short story or something that I read. When a family would get together and then say goodbye to each other, instead of saying goodbye, they would say, "May you always have enough."
Mm.
And in their family story, it's always have enough for me and enough to share. So I always have thought I need enough for me and enough to share. And I loved your story, Dan, about living in the flow of abundance, that we use what we need, and then that is still circulating for other people. It's the filling the gap, you said, but it also reminded me that every cell in our body is provided enough energy, nutrition, whatever, to survive for like 4 minutes, plus enough to pass on for 4 more other cells. So talk about living in the flow of abundance and having it all circulated. And so you have to receive, you have to give. So I like, when I'm calling in the good to my life, it's enough for me and enough to share.
Awesome. All right. Enough. That's great. Anybody else?
Here again. So the story you were sharing about the Land Rover, the car with acceptance, and one of the things that came to my mind is when you get something that's too big, you learn to put it. And in that specific story, she could have given the car to the neighborhood mechanic in exchange for fixing up a Jeep. And that would be an expansion. Those kinds of things. And so for me, I kind of learned to, when I'm there, ponder those things before I make a quick decision.
Yeah.
And one of the other tools I come to do is give thanks for that desire, that it shows up
Mm-hmm.
in this self dialogue, and not get disappointed when it doesn't show up on my timeline.
That's a big one, isn't it? But I want it now. That doesn't always work, unfortunately. Higher power at work for sure. Thank you for your sharing. I appreciate you all very much. I always do. Let us wrap this up in a prayer. How about that? All right. So as we go within, we recognize that there is one life. There is one power and one presence. It is the infinite. It is the all. It is infinite love, joy, peace, prosperity, wisdom, intelligence. It's imagination and creativity. It is that which is greater than all that is and well beyond my understanding of my finite mind, the infinite nature of this presence. But I do know that I am a manifestation of it, for there is only one source, and I am sourced of it. And as I know this for myself, I know it for each of us gathered here in the room, online, those joining us later, that we are united, no matter what it may appear that we're separated by distance or time. We are not. We are united in this wholeness and the oneness of right here, right now, in this presence. And in each of us are those qualities of the divine. We are the wisdom and the intellect. We are the love, the peace, the wholeness, the prosperity. We are that and so much more. And so from this place of unity and unified wholeness, I speak my word for and about us, each one, everyone on our planet, knowing that each is whole, perfect, and complete in this manifestation, and that there truly is nothing lacking. There's truly nothing lacking. We have come fully equipped with all that we need to move through this life experience, knowing that there is a desire planted within each of us for growth and expansion. Sometimes it includes an expansion of more, of different, of special, of unique. And so we just open to that and say yes to it. We make a place for it. We say, welcome, come forward into my life. Allow me to share. Allow me to receive. Allow me to circulate. May I always be a vessel and channel through which Spirit can circulate its good, that I may circulate my good to others. And so today, as we're here gathered in this high consciousness of prayer, I know that for anyone that has anything on their heart today that they seek prayer for, that we as a community lift them up into our consciousness now, into our awareness, into this highest truth that we know, for healing revealed, for prosperity, for wisdom, for clarity, for grace, for ease, for love. Just knowing that there is a divine order and right action throughout this universe at play in, through, and as each of us, our lives, and the life of our planet and our universe. And how grateful I am to know that and to trust that and to have faith in that, understanding that is how life works. And so it is with a heart filled with joy, gratitude, and thanksgiving that I release this into the action and activity of law, knowing that it's already done, it's already so. For we know the word spoken is the word made manifest. And we affirm that truth right here, right now by saying, and so it is.